Brother, here's a hard truth that most men never see coming. A woman can love you and still stop admiring you. And when the admiration dies, the relationship dies next, not with a bang, but slowly, quietly, until one day you wake up and you're invisible to the woman who once adored you. Let's talk about why this happens and why it seems to happen to good men the most. It never starts with cheating, or big fights, or losing passion. It starts with something much, much smaller. She stops looking at you the same way. The spark in her eyes just changes. Her tone becomes a little colder. Her patience gets thinner. Her respect fades so slowly that you convince yourself it's nothing. But it's not nothing. It's the beginning of a silent emotional erosion. The moment she stops admiring you is the moment the power shifts from a partnership to an imbalance. Here's the painful truth. Love is natural. Admiration is earned. Most good men operate on the belief that if she loves me, she stay. If I'm a good partner, she appreciate me. But women don't admire you just for being good. They admire you for being consistent, grounded, decisive, and self-led. Goodness is comforting, but leadership is attractive. A woman can love a kind man while admiring a strong one. And the moment you lose your own self-direction, she feels that shift instantly. Admiration dies the exact moment you stop admiring yourself. It happens when you stop chasing your goals, when you stop having standards for yourself and for others, when you stop enforcing your boundaries, when you stop evolving as a man. She doesn't consciously think, I admire him less now. She feels it. A woman has an almost sixth sense for when a man is slowly abandoning himself. And if you turn your entire life into a shrine just to please her, she starts to resent you for it. She can love a man deeply and still lose all respect for him if he stops being the man he promised he would be. Good men often fall into a very dangerous trap. They start loving her more than they love their own mission. They give too much. They sacrifice too much of themselves. They put her happiness above their own purpose. And she feels it, not as devotion, but as pressure. It feels heavy. Women admire men who are anchored. Men who have a life, a mission, a direction that is their own. Not men who orbit around them like they are the sun. When you lose your center, you lose her respect. And when respect dies, love becomes an obligation. Here's something to think about. Women don't admire what they can predict. They admire what they can count on. There's a huge difference between the two. Predictable men repeat the same safe patterns over and over. Grounded men hold the same solid foundation, no matter the storm. Predictable is boring. Grounded is powerful. If every decision you make is safe, soft, or hesitant, admiration just dissolves. You don't have to be dangerous or reckless, but you must be decisive. You must know where you're going and make choices without constantly asking for permission or validation. Women admire men who lead, not men who wait to be told what to do. Now let us talk about the silent killer of attraction. When you become too emotionally available and lose your masculine polarity. Good men do this without even realizing it. They over-explain their feelings. They overshare every anxiety. They apologize for everything, even for having an opinion. They try to fix every single emotional storm she has, becoming her therapist instead of her partner. Polarity collapses when you stop being the grounded center and instead become her emotional mirror, just reflecting her chaos back at her. Women admire emotional strength, not emotional dependency. Be open, yes. Be vulnerable sometimes, yes. But be anchored. Be stable. Be the frame that holds the picture, not the chaos within it. Here's another brutal truth. If she starts leading the relationship, she stops admiring you. It's not because she secretly wants to dominate you. It's because she cannot respect a man who forces her to take on the masculine role. Think about it. When she's the one who plans everything, initiates everything, makes all the major decisions, and solves all the problems, she's not happy. She's compensating. And deep down, the thought starts to form in her mind, I love him, but I can't follow him. And that single thought is what destroys admiration completely. Over time, many good men slowly become passive. They start avoiding conflict at all costs. They suppress their own opinions to keep the peace. They give in on things that matter to them. They stop challenging her. They stop having any edges. And a woman doesn't admire a man who feels like a roommate, or a fan, or a servant. Admiration requires a little bit of healthy friction. It requires strength, direction, resistance, and conviction. I'm not talking about aggression or dominance. I'm talking about presence. A passive man becomes forgettable, even in the home he provides for. But here's the good news. Admiration can be rebuilt. It's not gone forever. And it starts with you. Reclaim your mission. Get back on your purpose. Protect your boundaries with your life. Say what you actually mean without apology. Rediscover your standards for yourself and for your life. Return to discipline. Lead without fear. A man who leads himself naturally becomes a man she can admire again. And this isn't about trying to impress her. It's about finally impressing yourself. She will feel that shift in energy instantly. Brother, women don't stop admiring good men. They stop admiring men who stop being men. Not the loud, arrogant kind, but the grounded, self-led, anchored man she fell in love with in the first place. Rebuild him. And you will rebuild the admiration you thought was gone forever. Thanks for watching. If this helped, make sure to follow for more.